Good morning and good evening. I'm Hitesh and welcome to my small talk. I'll not take a lot of your time and sharing some of my thoughts around this topic which is very close to my heart. So the topic for today is empathy, the art of building winning products. Right? So we all are in the product space. The event is called Product Drive, and that's why we'll talk about products but in a different manner. So, just a short introduction about myself. I have worked as a senior product manager at Microsoft. I've worked both in consumer products as well as in enterprise products. I come with a little more than 11 years of work experience under my belt. So, the stuff that I'll be talking about, I have some skin in the game, right? So, let's begin. So, what is empathy, right? So, a simple search on the internet would show you something like this: the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. But don't we all do that already? Right? All of us, are humans. We share the feelings of one another, we understand each other, we are very helpful, and all those things, right? So there is more to it, right, than just this one liner. So what does Wikipedia tell you about empathy? Let's just dive in there. Okay, so now Wikipedia gives a slightly longer version of what we just saw. It tells you, and please, focus on the words which I have, put in bold. Capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. That is, the capacity to place oneself in another's position. This is a very powerful statement. Because when we say that, I understand you, we are not always in the frame of reference of the other person, right? And then sometimes we just say it to make the other person feel good or something like that, right? So why are we discussing all of this stuff? Isn't this supposed to be discussed in some sort of a therapy session or a psychology class? Why are we discussing this in a product drive presentation? Well, you will see it next. Okay, so there are so many products which we all use on a daily basis. Some of these could be tangible products which you can touch and feel, like your phone, like your laptop, like your car. And some of these are intangible products like the websites, apps, and such stuff that we use on a daily basis. Products have really become a part of our lives. In fact, as of today, if you see, in case of most products, be it software, we might be talking more in terms of software because I come from a software background. We really can't imagine our life without these applications and the websites and the tools that we use in the office space and all. So product is the central idea of this entire talk, and the idea of empathy that I really want to land you with. Now, this is what really happens in the industry. So there are a bunch of people and teams who come together to build and launch and land the product in the market, right? So some of these you will be aware of. There are product managers, also project managers, program managers, right? Some folks who basically give the requirements and make sure that we are running on time and those sort of things. Then you have engineering teams, very, very important part, the folks who actually build the product. And after that, you have the design team, which beautify your product, define what flows work best for the consumers and things like that. Research teams, they give you very good insights about what does anybody wants, what is the latest trends, those things. And then you have certain folks who don't build the product per se, but they are essential for the launch of the product and for the success of the product after it is launched, right? So these would be your support folks, marketing guys, legal folks, right? So you don't need to land up in a position where you shouldn't be legally. And then you have a leadership team. They essentially guide you and see that you are on track and we are making the right strategic bets pre-sales and sales team, they are the ones who are, really selling your thing. You can build the best product in the market, but if it is not sold, nobody buys it. So it doesn't even exist, right? So why I'm talking about all of that stuff, you might already be aware of this, right? So this is just one part of the journey. This is all, related to the product, but on the back of it, right? So what else is related to the product? And this is what it is. All of us as customers and users. And customers and users, we all come in different shapes and sizes. So there would be users who will talk about your product, right, in a positive manner. There would be users who will not talk about your product. There would be users who will negatively talk about your product. There would be users who are connected to each other, right? Like in case of Facebook and such social apps. There would be users who give you good rating on the stores. There would be users who don't give you any rating on the stores. There would be users who will give you very less rating on the stores. You will have users who are kids. You will have users who are teenagers. You will have users who are elderly people. You will have users who are students or who are working class. So basically, this is the whole group of people who are involved here, right? And then customers and users, right? So customers could be different. Customers could be someone sitting in a big organization who takes the decisions to buy a product of some other company. But the users again could be different people. They could be the admin staff which is sitting in that office. Let's say in case of ERP product implementation. So this entire picture, where does it land us holistically, right? Because we started with the topic of empathy, and now we are talking about the product life cycle and the folks who are associated with product and all those things. So where are we going towards it? So we are going next. So it's all about people at the end of the day, right? No matter what you do, no matter, what product are you building? Are you building a car? Are you building a meditation app? Are you building an email application? Are you building something for dating? Eventually, the folks who are involved with any kind of interaction with this product, be it while building the product or ideating the product, or be it after the product is launched in the market in the form of users and consumers, it's always about the people, right? So what I think, if you really want to build winning products, right, the products which capture the market, products which really gel with the users, you really need to focus on the people and all across the board, not just your consumers and users. So typically, all of us as humans, we have certain aspirations, right? We want to achieve something. We have certain motivations, right? So for some, it could be, money, and for some, it could be family time and something like that. We have different pain points, and then we have different needs. And some of these needs we may not even know, right, ourselves. So all of this basically boils down to that feeling of what job you want to get done. Now, jobs to be done is a different framework, altogether. So we'll not talk about it in this presentation. But where I want to land you, as a point is that as a product manager, right, you need to be very, very, diligent about the needs and the pains and the ask of all the humans who are associated with the product in any form or the other, right? Whether inside or outside your organization. And then we'll see some of these things next. Okay, cool. So I had mentioned in the small intro of my talk on the website of Product Drive that I'll probably share some real life anecdotes with you, right? So here is one anecdote that I want to share with you, and this is about having a customer centric viewpoint for a product manager. Oftentimes we we are told, and even the job descriptions of various companies who are hiring for a product manager role, it mentions that you should have experience in gathering customer requirements. And I think a lot of you who are already product managers or want to be product managers, you would have already known about this and you would be doing this as well, just like I also do it. And the usual way to gather customer requirements is to obviously ask the customer, what do you want, right? Let's say you want to buy a shoe. You walk into a shoe store. The person comes to you and asks you, what do you want? And you will say, you know what? I want a black shoe which has a good cushion. So, okay, fine, right? And see these two differences, right? You walk into a shoe store. The shoe guy asks you, what do you want? You say, I want a black shoe which has a very nice cushion to it. And they give you something, which matches your requirements in quotes. And you don't like it. You say, no, you show me something else. And then again, somebody rushes and gives something else to you. You don't like it again. Now, let's say that, in another store, somebody really asks you, don't tell me what you want. You tell me, why do you want it? What do you want to do with the shoe? Do you want to walk? Do you want to run? Do you want to run 10K? Do you want to run 20K? Do you want to run 5K? Do you want to go to office? Do you want to go to office and also do a party? Right? So basically try to understand where the customer or the user is coming from, right? And then give the solution, and not what exactly, because at times customers don't even know what they want. So, okay, coming back to the story. So while I was working at Microsoft and been working there as well, I was working in a very large scale enterprise product for data center management. And then I happened to visit some customers in Germany. And while we had, the customers used to, always bug us with new requirements that we want this bug to be first fixed, that bug to be fixed, and those sort of things. We also had a complaint, for the customer, which was like, why are you on a 10-year-old version of our product, right? Like, we are already ahead in terms of technology, in terms of use cases, and you're still using the older version of the product. So we will not fix your bugs unless you move to this newer version, right? We can't spare that much time of our time, of our team. So I went to this customer and I told them the same stuff, that, what, you're already on an older version of the product. That's why, you're not able to get the new features. That's why you have so many bugs. That's why we cannot fix your bugs, and all those kind of things that, we usually tell customers. And then, there was this to and fro conversation. The customer said, no, we cannot upgrade to the newer version of your product, come what may, and all those sort of things. And they said that even if you want to upgrade, we'll do it 5 years later, those sort of things. And then for me, it was like, either I say that, okay, fine, let's agree to disagree, and I walk off the table and I come back, because, well, we have many customers. We just don't have one customer. So why do, end up spending so much time, right, when the conversation is not going anywhere? And then I thought that why not ask them that why are they saying all of these things? So I sat with the customer, and then when I say customers, just, few people who were there in the room, I asked them what their role is. What do they really do with this product, right? Because here something is very important. When you work in a large scale enterprise product, right, as someone who may or may not have the domain knowledge, right, these days, so sometimes you are not able to get that entire gist. So it is very important to understand the user and their life around the product. So I sat with these guys. I asked them that what do you do with this product? So they explained me, which I knew to a certain extent. And then they went on telling me that they have such a big staff, of vendors and all these folks who are trained on this product for so many years. they are responsible for the day-to-day working of the product so that their company's infrastructure is up and running. It does not go down, right? And if they plan to upgrade the product, it will take them almost 6, 7, 8 months to train all of these people again, and then complete the entire migration and the upgrade process. Now, this was an eye-opener for me, because I always considered that these two folks who I speak on phone, they are my customers, right? I never knew all of these 500 other guys who are also associated with this chain, that if I change something here, the ripple effect will actually go that far. So then I understood, okay, so this is actually their main problem, and that's why they don't want to do it, because they risk losing people. That's the first thing. They risk wasting training resources. And on the other hand, their job was just getting done fine with our product. They did not wanted an upgrade at all. They just wanted us to fix some of these bugs. And even if we can't fix it, they just wanted, me to listen to them. Right? So this was, one part of the story where I was able to understand that what do these folks really want, as customers. So you have to understand your customer and not just gather the requirement, what they tell you to do. Right? So that's, one story that I have. Now I have another story, right? And I'll quickly move to that one as well. Okay. So this story is about your own team. And now here the team could be primarily the team is your engineering team, a set of developers who are developing the product. And it could also include designers who are building your product. In my conversation, I'll exclude, other supporting teams, cross-functional teams like the legal teams, support teams, and, all these folks around. So what happens is that at most of the places, the product manager, they're expected to be the source of ideas, right? So product manager should be very creative. They should be the generator of ideas, and they should just tell what to do so that, we get the product market fit, we get everything right, and, we are able to grow big. The thing is that it is always good to consult everyone in the team, especially the folks who are developing the product for you, right? The engineers who are there in the team, and prefer, this collective wisdom over the brilliance of one person. And that is how you build winning products. Because the people who are building this product for you, they need to have their skin in the game. They need to have their entire mindset, right, in making that end user who is sitting in some corner of the world trying to get some job done where he or she is having a pain point which you can resolve. And that can only be done if every single person who is working on the team is able to connect, with that person's needs, aspirations, pains, and motivations. So let me tell you a story around this. So I work on a product which is on the consumer side of things, and in this product we are basically revamping all the things, and the team was not so interested. They were like, we have other good things to work on. Why should we work on, and we had kept this thing dormant for a while. So why should we work on this particular product and revamp it and all those things? We think that it is working pretty much fine for people, right? And by the way, there were several broken workflows, but it was like when your usage is also less, you have less customers, then you don't hear so many complaints because your funnel itself is low. So saying that we don't have a problem because we are not hearing it is not the right thing, and it's easy to do as well. So basically I sat with the team, and I tried to at least motivate them towards getting into this flow of thinking from a user standpoint. So to begin with, I basically started asking them scenarios that if you have to use this app, what all things will you do? Where do you think somebody would fail? And now, even in your team, you have diversity, right? There would be people who are young, who are old, who have kids, who don't have kids, and those sort of things, right? Who are male, who are female. So they would have different ideas altogether, right? So That's how the universe works. And then I started showing them certain positive customer feedback that we have got in the past, that your app helped me in my studies, your app helped me in completing my assignment, these sort of things, which basically slowly and slowly motivated them that we are making a real change in somebody's life, right? And then I started roping in people slowly and slowly to talk to some of these users, to respond to the comments that they leave on the stores. When I say stores, it means the App Store or the Play Store, these kind of things. And then now today we are in a situation where I don't even have to tell people what to do, right? They know what they have to do. They fight for it, that we want to do this because these are my customers or users. So that feeling of having my customer and my user as compared to my company's user or my company's customer, that is a radical shift, that once it comes in, then you don't have to worry about whether your teams are really hustling together to create a winning product or not. It will be that ways. So that's one small example that I just gave to you, wherein you should involve everybody in your team who is working on a product from day zero. If you involve them from day zero, you will get far better ideas than any PM can ever generate on their own. Not, not speaking against PMs for sure. I am of the same breed, but just one of the observation, and in practice, what I felt. So let's move next. The next one is something that is a takeaway from this presentation, and also some thoughts, some of which are my own, that I wanted to share with you. So how do you build empathy? And I'll not mince my words. I speak to a lot of people. I interview a lot of candidates who want to be PMs. And I've often found that empathy is one such skill that is very hard to learn and master unless you are born with it. So some people are really empathetic because they are born that ways. They care for other folks. But then if you are not in that sort of a category, and there is nothing wrong in it, you can't control that part, how do you still become somewhat empathetic, right? And by the way, all of us might feel that we're already empathetic. So it's such a tricky skill to have. We might feel that we are empathetic, but the other person, they may not feel that we are being empathetic towards them. So the first thing, and it is very, very important, I can't stress enough, is listening skills. Like I could have written it 100 times on the screen. Listening is such an important skill, and yet you would see that a lot of people, a majority of people, lack it. So being a product manager, it is very, very, very important for you, in quotes, to be an extremely good listener. Because when you listen to someone, you're processing so many thoughts that the other person wants to tell you. And this may not be your answer, your typical answer to gathering requirements thing. This is about the life of someone, their motivations, aspirations, and other things, and what they really want to do. And then you can basically ask more questions from it. And don't be shy to ask more, because unless you understand the entire picture, you cannot be empathetic at all. You would just be flying on a superficial layer, and you would be making up things on your own in your mind, thinking that, yes, I know what this person wants, and this person could be your team, this person could be your customer as well. So that covers the second point. The next one is you have to be patient and allow time. So let me give you an example from personal life. So I live in India, and this, the people who have been living in Indian and similar developing economies would actually relate to it. So a lot of people, we have a honking problem, right? So let's say if a car is going ahead of me, if the car suddenly stops, if the car is not moving on a signal, people start honking like anything, right? So why can't they just understand that maybe there is some problem Maybe this guy is a new driver. Maybe, something fell off in the car and they're trying to search it for a moment. Maybe they had no intention to, stop there intentionally, to keep you waiting, right? So this is a small example where you can be patient and allow time for the other person to respond. And the same applies to product management, right? So when you are a PM, you've asked somebody to get something done. It could be a small presentation. It could be a demo that you want somebody to make. Allow them time. Allow them to do what they think is their best effort. And then, try to nudge them or bother them again and again. It'll always give you good results. And the last one is, and I leave you with that, the last one is get rid of the I. So get rid of, your own image as somebody who a lot of people call as the CEO of the product and I don't know what not, right? You're just there as a PM to orchestrate this stuff. You're the conductor of this orchestra, which is, which has all these folks working, and you're just, managing things by, waving your sticks. So you have to get rid of, if you have an ego, get rid of the ego, those kind of things. Be very humble. Try to get opinions of as many people as you want when you are building a product. Be very kind to your customers because they are the ones who are paying your salary, right? At the end of the day. Don't do everything that the customer says, but try to get in there. Try to get slightly deeper, into the thick of things and understand what someone really wants when they really are telling you what is their job to be done, right? Again, we'll not talk about job to be done in this presentation, but you know where I'm landing you. And I think, that's all for this presentation. If you want to get in touch with me, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. Sometimes I talk to people over weekends, in a 30-minute slot. We can figure it out, depending upon if you want to, talk about something related to product management or career in general. So thanks a lot. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. I'll be happy to, hear what you also think, as comments or, by reaching out to me, those kind of things. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.